Every Hajime no Ippo fan has been singing the exact same song for many years, man. When is the boy coming back? When does Ippo cross the line? When does he turn into a monster? We want the blood. We want the world title run. We want to see Ippo take Ricardi Baby Martinez into deep waters and drown him. But maybe we were all ignoring the casualty report. You want Ippo to cross the line into the realm of monsters. But have you done the math on what happens to the old man sitting in his corner? Now, it's a slow-motion autopsy. When Ippo finally puts the gloves back on, it is going to kill Kamogawa. Let's get the clinical reality out of the way first. Kamogawa is running on borrowed time, but with smoke and fumes from 1948. In boxing chronology, this man is well into his 80s. But Morikawa hasn't just aged him. He has repeatedly dropped anvil-sized hints that the engine is failing. We've seen the hospital visits, and we've seen Takamura's terrifyingly uncharacteristic moments of quiet urgency when he told Ippo that time is running out. Takamura knows it. Why do you think he's speedrunning 6 weight classes like he's trying to beat a timer? Because he is. In fiction, especially in long-form sports epics, mentors don't die of old age in a warm bed surrounded by grandchildren. They survive strictly on unfinished business. Right now, Kamogawa is in narrative stasis. He's frozen in time. He's alive because his life's thesis, his brand of pure indomitable guts and glory boxing, is currently sitting in retirement. And he's reading fishing magazines and apologizing to Kumi. The very moment Ippo returns, that narrative stasis breaks. The timer hits 0. Now, to strengthen my argument, let's look at the sheer physics of Ippo's retirement evolution. Ippo didn't retire and get soft. He accidentally turned himself into a kinetic warhead by wearing wrist and ankle weights 24/7, mastering southpaw stances, and rebuilding his boxing IQ from scratch as a second. Retirement Ippo is significantly more lethal than active Ippo ever was. Which finally brings me to the most violent recurring ritual in this series: mitt holding. Now take a look at this. Japanese title run. Ippo had heavy and raw infighter hooks. Kamogawa's condition was 60s or 70s, and he was sturdy. Result on impact: bruised palms and standard soreness. And then the next era, OPBF era. Ippo's output was destructive Dempsey roll variations. Kamogawa's condition was late 70s, early 80s and declining. Result on impact: chronic hand pain, visible strain. And now, post-retirement era. Ippo's output is full-body weight kinetic artillery. Kamogawa's condition is now 80s plus, like late 80s, medically fragile. Result on impact: structural failure. We've already seen what happens when Kamogawa catches punches from a fully loaded Ippo. The impact travels through the mitts, shatters the old man's wrists, rattles his elbows, and sends shockwaves straight into a geriatric cardiovascular system. Catching mitts for world-level Ippo is not training, man. This is blunt force trauma. Every training camp for a world-ranking fighter will physically chip away at whatever bone density and heart muscle Kamogawa has left. And if you think Ippo's Dempsey roll is the only thing putting mileage on the old man's ticker, you're forgetting the 168-pound gorilla in the room. Let's look at the sheer insane madness of Kamogawa's current daily workload before Ippo even puts the boots back on. Right now, Kamogawa is not holding pads for featherweights. He's catching mitts for Takamura, a man who has already terrorized super middleweight and is actively knocking on the door of light heavyweights. Do you understand the kinetic energy of a light heavyweight Takamura? This isn't the weight drain starving Takamura from the hawk fight. This is a natural heavyweight moving closer to his true frame, throwing literal wrecking balls with terrifying speed. Catching a 6-punch combination from a 170-pound Takamura is the physical equivalent of standing in front of a pitching machine firing bowling balls. That workload alone is already pushing Kamogawa's structural limits to the absolute brink. Now, add comeback Ippo to the schedule. When Ippo comes back, he can't just shadowbox in the corner. A world title comeback run requires intensive daily high-volume mid-work with Kamogawa to recalibrate his distance, timing and ring sense. You're asking one old man to act as the brick wall for 2 world-class siege engines every single afternoon? Takamura is already cracking the foundation. Ippo's intensive comeback camp is just going to bring the whole house down. I wouldn't call this a training schedule. It's a 2-man firing squad, man. But to understand why Kamogawa will gladly die in that corner, you have to look at the pathology of his boxing. Kamogawa's entire philosophy was forged in post-war Japan. When he fought Anderson, he didn't win with slick defensive Philly shell science. He won by driving his bare, broken fists into a man's ribs until his own hands were pulverized into gravel. Kamogawa's boxing is, and always has been, a self-destruction pact disguised as courage. He passed that exact virus to Ippo. He turned a bullied high school kid into his surrogate fist. Why? Because Kamogawa needs proof. He needs to prove that his boxing, the boxing of Japan's survival era, the boxing that cost Nekota his brain and Kamogawa his youth, can conquer the world. Ippo is not just an athlete to him, man. Ippo is his apology to the past. And Kamogawa is entirely willing to spend his own life as the currency to buy that proof. Takamura told Ippo that to survive on the world stage, you have to leave your humanity behind and become a monster. And this is the dark irony nobody talks about. Ippo's kindness is the only thing keeping Kamogawa alive right now. As long as Ippo is a gentle, hesitant kid who hesitates to cross that line, Kamogawa has to stay alive to protect him, guide him, and wait for him. But the second Ippo crosses that line, the second he becomes a cold and calculated monster required to beat Ricardo, the mentor's job is finished. In classic storytelling like Rocky, the master cannot survive the student's ultimate ascension. Imagine the fight against Ricardo Martinez, round 10. The stadium is deafening. Ippo is not face-blocking anymore. He's cutting angles, slipping jabs, and unleashing a modernized lethal Dempsey roll. He corners the unbeatable champion. And in that corner, watching the Iron Fist finally conquer the world, Kamogawa gets his proof. The unfinished business evaporates. The adrenaline keeping a failing 80-plus-year-old body together drops to zero. We all want Ippo back in the ring. The manga demands it, the pacing demands it, and almost 40 years of reader patience demands it. But make no mistake about what we're asking for. The comeback won't be a lighthearted nostalgic triumph. It's going to be a blood sacrifice. Ippo will get his belt. He will conquer the world. And he will do it just in time to bury the man who taught him how to throw a jab. Be careful what you wish for. The monster is coming back. And he's bringing a coffin with him.